Let's get ready to go. We are live and it'll start
Hi.
rolling in. So welcome. This is Pat Roquet and Sally Ciocci Fisher, and it is Happy Friday LinkedIn Live. We are part of the Rock On Success family and wanted to take a little time on this Friday to help you get ready to not just have a great weekend because it's the weekend, but to have a great weekend because next week on Monday morning, we're going to start a career clarity challenge, a career confidence and accountability challenge. And I thought that it would be really super smart to introduce you to one of our rock star friends and maybe bring home a really super important point. So I'm a career and leadership strategist. And what does that mean? I help people love their jobs and their jobs to love them back. And it's not just about finding a new job. It's about making sure that you shine the light on your zone of genius and that you put your best self forward because you deserve to rock your career and your life without selling your soul or losing your mind. And so it's an elevation strategy. It's about what do I do to be the best version of me? Not only just to find a new job. Some people are here for that, but Sally's not. This is Sally. And I wanted her to say hi and introduce herself and let her tell you where she found us. Go ahead, Sally. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks, Pat. Thanks for the introduction. My name is Sally Ciocci Fisher. And first off, I would like to thank Pat for her time and dedication towards me. She worked effortlessly with me through the last 3 months, and she created such a comprehensive program that I gained insight on myself, on my skills, what I needed to improve upon. And it was truly a game changer for me and my career. So thank you very much, Pat. With that being said, this program really just opened my eyes to me as a person. And it's not, to Pat's point, just for the people that are looking for a job. I was able to network with people that were out of work and were looking for a job. I was also able to network with people who started a job and was looking for help on that onboarding process. You know, what do you need to do when you start a job? How do you want other people to perceive you? And then there were people like me who have been in a role. I've been in my role for 15 years now and consider myself quite successful. But due to a recent acquisition, I needed to understand, how do I now fit into such a large organization as I'm used to being part of a small organization? How do I stand out to management? How do I better communicate? So this program really helped me see what I needed to do to be successful in my new organization. And it also set me up for if I one day want to move forward in a different role or go to a different company. It helped me see what I needed to do to attract the right people through LinkedIn. Because let's face it, one never knows where you are going or where you are heading. So I wanted to make sure, due to an acquisition, that A, I was set up for success for where I am, and B, if that day comes where I do need to move forward, I'm prepared. So that's what this course is all about. And once again, thank you, Pat, for your help and support.
You are certainly welcome. My pleasure. So tell me, Sally, how did you find us? Because there are a million, quote unquote, career coaches and executive coaches and corporate trainers. How'd you find us, and what inspired you to say yes to Rock On Success versus, you've got a lot of opportunity out there. What inspired you to say yes to us?
Sure. So to your point, yes, there are many career coaches out there. I interviewed actually 4 of them. I found some of them through LinkedIn. I found some of them through recommendations through friends. And I actually found you through a friend. And also knowing you were involved with HBA. And after really trying to find out what I needed and what every career coach offered. Well, I think everyone I talked to were fabulous and had their own things to offer. What stood out about you is your knowledge in my industry, the fact that you had a sales background as well, and the fact that you were so in tune to my needs during that first discussion. We had a connection. You got me. I liked your you did. I liked your experience, and from there it just was a no-brainer for me to move forward with you. And it happened quite fast, right?
It did. And so here's the magic. And we tell everyone this that comes into our circle. I'm not the right coach for everybody. You're a $7 million bionic salesperson. You're like the $6 million man. I've got $7 million Sally. So it was never a matter of, can she do it? Is she awesome? Because you prove that each and every year, year over year over year. But when you're looking to join forces and step into that next level, the chemistry has to be there. You've got to feel that I get you, I've got your back kind of feeling. And it's almost hard to put into words. When it's not there, there's a flatness about it. Or almost ever talk to someone and get that itchy, scratchy feeling when you just are like, okay, slime, they're about to pitch me and it feels gross. And people make things about them. They never make it about you. And we've tried to really open this up to be as generous and as unselfish, meaning this is about what you need. It wasn't about shoveling our program down your throat. It was about, where are you at? What do you need? But here's the secret. There's a structure and a system to it. So you've got awesome people that you feel a connection with. And yes, I used to work at all the big players, including the biggest advertising and media agencies in the world in the health space, and WebMD and Everyday Health. So I've kind of been around the block and know a few people, yes, but also creating a system that allows you to then run at your pace, have everything you need at your fingertips, and then know you have live training and support from trusted people. So you get not just feedback from myself, but you get the benefit of the ecosystem of Rock On Success, right? So it's not just one person's attitude. It's not just what Pat says. Although that might not be such a bad thing, but it's absolutely this ecosystem, because I think I need to shout out for you and say you've contributed so much and supported other people and given other people food for thought, because we're all at different points in the race. And there's always going to be someone ahead or someone behind in the journey, no matter what. And so I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. And, the one thing I wanted to say, as you mentioned, there's a structure in place. I loved how we started off this program with career soul searching. And I loved the survey. And of course, the survey, forgive me, is escaping from me right now, but it gave me my top 5 strengths and what that means. And everyone thinks they might know their strengths. And in some cases, I was point on. My number 1 strength was the woo factor, which no one's going to argue. I somehow have that. But what I liked about it is, where did I fall on the low side? And what fell on the low side, what did I need to work on? And I was able to take a look where I was maybe lacking a little bit and start fine-tuning something like empathy, which is so important. But I find in my role, and this is going back to earlier in my career, I've always had roles where I am so busy that someone asks me for something, I shoot an answer, boom, get it done. And knowing that maybe the way I'm coming across isn't the way I want to be perceived. Mm-hmm. And having empathy for those people that are asking those questions and understanding where it's coming from has definitely helped me in my current role. And people have even gone now out of their way to thank me for the way I've handled a situation or the way I have given credit to people that I work with and said, Sally, what you just did is going to go a long way. So once again, it's not that I was ever in my career trying to be mean to anyone, but being so busy, I'm just like, boom, short to the point, fire it off. And now I'm kind of like, okay, take a step back, understand where things are coming from, have empathy for the people that are asking you for this, and take it from there. So that survey really was tremendous. And like I said, it has been noticed that I've changed for the better because of that survey.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're talking about the structure and the step one clarity. And when we are doing the challenge next week, we are definitely going to be giving you in 30 minutes a worksheet, a little laser training and a worksheet to really start with step one and get clear on why you rock, what you want, what matters to you now, right? Because what matters to you in this chapter of your career and your life is different from 5 or 10 years ago, and is probably going to be different from 5 or 10 years down the road, and that's okay. So step one is clarity, and that's what you talked about. I did drop a link for the free career soul searching assessment. That's one of the tools that we created that people will use to just kind of figure out your career GPS. What do I want and what matters to me now? Step two is confidence. That's where it's understanding your skills and your transferable skills, and now layering on your strengths. What you mentioned is everybody's got amazing innate talent, the things we're born with that we almost do so well. It's like breathing. We don't see it because we're so good at it. And obviously, as a top strategic salesperson, you've got numbers to back it up. But at the same time, you've got relationship building skills. You've got leadership skills. Nobody had pandemic leader on their resume or on their CV or their LinkedIn profile in January 2020. So understanding the skills you've developed, the muscles for emotional intelligence, for example, and relationship building that you've acquired are all important to embrace. And at the same time, when you mention empathy, it's about every strength or every set of strengths has what sometimes we think of as a floor and a ceiling. So there's the best of it, right? Here's how these strengths come across well, like you just said, but the things to be mindful of. So slowing down enough so make sure other people are with you, tracking with you, because when you're so smart, and we surround ourselves with all these smart people. So this is a common thing in our group. Your brain works so fast, your mind works quickly, you kind of see the path way before others and you can see around corners. How do we slow it down enough to make sure other people are on board, that they feel encouraged, that they take co-ownership of things? Because if we tell people what they should be doing, then it's a little bit more they're reacting like, oh, no, wait a minute. But if you let them think it's their idea and co-create, it's a beautiful thing. So I loved watching you evolve and learn and talk about that. And the next one is about communicating and connecting, right? So 1 is clarity, 2 is confidence, 3 is communicating your value, your presence, your story, your product, you as a person, and connecting. And I know you said that that was super important to you. What was so different about your role pre-pandemic, during pandemic, and some of the things you've learned now?
Sure. So pre-pandemic, I worked in the conference space. I actually have 2 roles. I worked in conferences. I also worked in advertising for print and digital. And going through the pandemic, it took a big toll on conferences. So I had to learn how to shift from being and networking in person at numerous conferences to doing it virtually. So how to come up with a game plan to make this beneficial for all of my clients, and had to learn once again how to network through communication via Zoom. And also at the time of the pandemic, we were launching a meeting in a new space. So how to learn really to use LinkedIn to its fullest potential to connect with new players. And this program really, well, understood LinkedIn. I learned I only understood it about this much. Um,
Yeah.
so during our LinkedIn session, understanding how to better use it, how to better communicate through it. I've reached out to people that I haven't had communication with in 15 years. And you know, you get a dialogue going and then they put you in touch with the right people. It, you know, once again, you just kind of had to flip the switch on how to do things because I was so used to going to in-person meetings and physically meeting someone. And now I had to switch that to be like, okay, how do I do this through Zoom? And how do I use LinkedIn to make connections rather than going somewhere and making connections? So very, very different.
So it's not just connecting, it was reconnecting.
Yes.
You mentioned that that was super helpful, right? How do you go back to people from your past? You know, not just the people you see this week, last week, but people even before. And so in the challenge next week, in the 5-day challenge, we're going to be having an exercise on clarity, figuring out what you want and what your goal is for the week and what your goal is for the year. Where do you want to go? And then the next day is going to be about confidence and understanding why you rock, your way of showing your best self, but maybe taking it from other people's perspective, right? Not being afraid to say, my colleagues say, my boss says, my clients say, and then go ahead and put that brag out there because it's meant to give people an idea of how you might help them too, without sounding over the top, icky, salesy, pushy, braggy, right? But you need to tell the story. So the communication, day 3, we're going to talk about communication and we're going to teach people how to introduce themselves, especially when they're in transition or if they're networking, to be prepared for outreach so that if someone says, what do you mean? How do you plant seeds for who you want to be known as now, right? Your resume is your history. That's there, but your LinkedIn and how you introduce yourself and carry yourself are very different. So day 3 is about communicating your value. And I think we might be having a little laser coaching after for the VIPs, right? So we're going to have a VIP opportunity for anybody who wants the recordings of all the sessions and some of the live laser coaching. There's going to be a VIP upgrade when they register. So stay tuned. It's only $67. It's nothing. It's so worth it, and prizes. But clarity, confidence, communicating, then the connecting, because now they're going to know how to introduce themselves. They're going to know why they rock. They're going to know what they want to be doing next. And they're going to be able to now have a very targeted, expressive conversation. And the last part, Sally, is the celebrating. And you've been in long enough. We've watched folks land their new jobs. We've watched folks have great first 90-day onboardings. We've watched folks find out how to re-engage with their clients and keep them happy, even when the world is changing and their events may have had to shift from live to virtual. So the celebrating part is super important. Why do you think it's important to have stepping stones, not just the big giant milestones? Why do you celebrate each quarter? Why do you measure along the way instead of just waiting until the end to look backwards?
Obviously, everything in baby steps. When you look at the big picture, right, it could be a little overwhelming. So taking it day by day, having a plan in place, right, to take it day by day makes it more digestible, if you will, than looking at something so huge where you're like, how am I going to get to that part of the mountain, right? How am I going to climb there? Well, let me get to this first tree. Let me get to that next rock over here. Take it in steps, and then you do get to the top.
Absolutely. And so tell me, daily accountability, giving us a chance to have little wins. How important was it to have a daily nudge? Because we actually have a daily accountability tool that's going to be part of the challenge, and it's part of all of our programs, our 90-day career accelerator that's coming up in the fall. So why or how is accountability important? And not just for you, but for others, because you've had so many people chime in about what they found with it. Why did it help you?
It keeps you focused. You get that daily reminder that you set forward a goal. And by the end of the night, did I reach it? Did I get there? If not, why didn't I? and then you reset for the next day. So it's just something, once again, to measure and give you a boost of confidence for your own success, that you set a goal for the day and you got it done.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way. That happens to all of us, and you didn't reach it. But just because you didn't reach that goal, you probably accomplished something else during that day. So once again, it's just a way to help build confidence and make you feel good.
Absolutely. And so one of the things we remind people is that it's not supposed to be perfect. None of us are. It's not supposed to be perfect. So when you are working toward goals that matter, life is going to happen. Today is my husband's birthday. I'm working till noon, and then we're going to go play golf. That's okay. I'm going to get done what I need to do in the morning, but then I'm giving myself the time to recharge. We want this to be about well-being in the workplace, well-being in your career, about fitting it all in. And so when you dropped your daughter off at college, you might have stepped aside and had to just say no, turn your out of office and take a vacation day or whatever you decide to do. But to let people know that that's okay, that that's important, and that you deserve and need to do those kinds of things, because sometimes people feel like, I'm always on, and they're exhausted and they're burnt out with this pandemic. So when we do the accountability, which is part of the 5-day challenge next week and part of the 90-day career accelerator, it takes 3 minutes, I'll say, let's not exaggerate it. 3 minutes, right? To write down, you have your weekly goal. Here's the one thing I'm going to do today. And it might be something that literally takes you 5 minutes or 15 minutes to accomplish. We're not talking about trying to eat the whole elephant, right? They always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's a reminder to give you little micro steps, little micro actions, and little micro wins. And if you start to find yourself finding excuses, because I call it your chicken list. What's the one thing you need to do that you might procrastinate on all day? And then the next day, this stops you from doing that. So that being said, will help you stay on track. And if you keep falling off the rails for whatever reason, you get a chance to speak with your coach, to speak with yourself, to talk with your team, your family, whoever's involved, and say, I need help with bringing myself around, or what's going on in my mindset that I keep procrastinating on this. Or maybe I should revisit, because maybe that goal isn't actually something that matters. Because if it is, I need to be dedicating 15 minutes a day to it, right? Reset your priorities, reframe what matters. If it's something that needs to come off because it's not really a priority, then you move it. No harm, no foul. But you get to see where you're winning and where you're putting yourself second, third, fourth. Oh, we've got a hello from Tunisia. This really is a global effort. It's so much fun. I love being on LinkedIn, love being on Clubhouse, and love having the chance to really share this. And so at the end of the day, Sally, if somebody was thinking, why should I jump in and do this 5-day challenge? What would you say to them? Is there something that would be beneficial? Is it worth taking 20, 30 minutes for 5 days to move ahead?
Absolutely. I think you'll get a lot out of it. Just the insight of, depending where you are with your career, as I mentioned earlier, this is really for everyone and anyone. And any nuggets you get out is just going to propel you forward. So for 20, 30 minutes out of your time, I highly suggest it.
There you go. And so, Sally, I just want to say, I honor you. I thank you. You are absolutely a rock star. You absolutely glow. I loved watching your eyes open up, because you're a constant learner. You're definitely a lifelong learner, and you're a lifelong sharer. So it's not just a what's in it for me, but everything you learned, you were so eager and excited to share with, whether it's colleagues, whether it's clients, that whole momentum. This is a movement. Rock on Success is a movement. It's about helping people stand up taller, kind of get their swagger back, to have that dose of confidence to say, I know I was burned out and I maybe wasn't planning on having to do virtual, but guess what? We're going to really make the best of it, and watch how we've turned that frown upside down and really helped our clients feel even excited about the opportunity instead of whining and complaining, to turn that into a positive. So I appreciate you and the way you've been spreading that light for everyone. Again, this is Sally Ciocci Fisher and Pat Roquet, and we're going to be 5 days next week. It's a 5-day career confidence challenge, 5 days of accountability. On Monday, we're going to have a short and amazing clarity worksheet and training. Take you 30 minutes to learn it and do it. That's not bad. Tuesday is confidence. Wednesday is how you communicate. Thursday is about rocking connections. And on Friday, we're going to celebrate your wins. We've got some amazing prizes, and we're going to introduce our 90-day career accelerator that's starting on September 8th. So it's not too late to get on board. Join us at rockonsuccess.com/soon. And if you have questions, I'm on LinkedIn all the time. My messenger is open there. So please, please feel free to drop a comment or messenger me. Sally, thank you so much. God bless and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.